Just a Concerned Citizen by Demos on AO3. Summary. Midoriya Izuku is a normal, quirkless, college dropout. He's not a vigilante. Everything he does is perfectly above board and totally legal. He double-checked. It would be nice if everyone else could see it that way, though. Izuku becomes an informant. Sort of. Trouble follows. Chapter 1. Email. Izuku blinked slowly at the email that had just come into his inbox. It was not one he'd been expecting. From mind.jack@hero.net to Concerned Citizen 81904 at gpmail.com. Subject. Info you may need to know. Thanks for the info. I've been tracking them for a while. It really helped with the takedown. Given what we're dealing with, I feel like it's important for me to ask. Who are you? How do you know these things? He had only sent the message for his own peace of mind. He'd never thought anyone would actually going to read it. When he was 4, the doctor told him he was quirkless and sent him home. His mom had hugged him tight and apologized over and over, and he had cried and cried. But it wasn't really over then. It was over on that rooftop. All Might had told him, you can't be a hero. It was over when Kachan hadn't come to school the next week, attacked by a villain, damaged jaw and a lung infection. It was over when he tried to say sorry, and Kachan had snapped at him about looking down at him, and the words died on his tongue, because he was the one who let the villain get to him in the first place. He had stayed and cried on that rooftop for too long, and had walked back home, remembering his mother's plea to stay away from villain fights, and gone straight to bed. Turned out, bullies got bored pretty quickly when you didn't have the energy left to react to them anymore. Still, sometimes he walked home with a bitter taste in his mouth, seeing those bullies turn on others, not being able to bring himself to move between them anymore. He was no hero. Someone like him couldn't save anyone. He had, on the recommendation of his school and mother, decided to apply to a nice, normal high school. It had been better. He wasn't beaten up. The teachers would help him, pity him even. He kept quiet so that he wasn't a target, and for the most part, it worked. He took all of his All Might merch down because they served as cruel reminders of what he couldn't be. He still liked heroes. He still liked heroes a lot. But he couldn't stand to look at that one anymore. And he made it through high school, and because everyone had told him to, he went to college. He got a part-time job at a bookstore in a tiny, cramped, one-room apartment. He made a few semesters before they told him that he had to declare a major, to figure out what he wanted to do. And he nodded at them and told them he'll think about it, and hadn't gone back. A cop, an EMT, the quirkless support groups told him, be a social worker if you want to help people. He knew those things were true, but they weren't what he wanted to be. Quirkless people have the highest mortality rate in the country, the group said. The highest suicide and homicide rates of any demographic. The gap year stretched to 2. His days went like this. He would wake up as late as he could be allowed before rushing to work to the bookstore on whatever days he was scheduled. He would go to the gym after, his mom's idea. In high school, when she had been begging for him to just do something, anything, he just kept it up because, well, it was something to do, at least. Then he would go home, shower, make himself dinner, healthily, as much as he could put effort and money towards anyways, and spent hours and hours scrolling through the internet until the small hours of the morning. On Friday afternoons, he would call his mom, and they would talk about their week. Rinse and repeat. It was not very nice life, but it was his. He had a wall covered with printout of pictures of heroes he follows. He had some friends online, in forums and chat rooms, but when that wasn't enough, he just reminded himself with a grim smile that by staying alive, he was beating a statistic. It also stood to reason that someone who spent as much time on the internet as Izuku did would eventually find their way into the dark parts of it. It wasn't even hard to do, really. People were all too eager to publicly share what they got their fix, and from there, it had spiraled into a whole folder of definitely not legal websites. Online stores where people could buy drugs were one thing, but with one searching it, spiraling more into, forums where people did biddings on killing, anonymous chat rooms where people shared information from police scanners, where all other obviously planned to use that information to mug someone or worse. And then there was worse. A lot. So much worse. And it was just there, online, able to read. Well, not easily read, but Izuku had a lot of time to spare. The first time he had found people talking in code about something that was clearly human trafficking, he had bit his lip and waited. Everything he had found out was publicly available. The police or the pros surely knew about it already. They would handle it. They didn't. Izuku felt sick to his stomach, as the names on screens celebrated their score. The second time he had read the messages, over and over, so sure that this was the same thing. If no one was acting on it, it meant that either they didn't care or they didn't know. And, well, someone like him couldn't actually help, but he could at least point a hero towards what was happening. So he did some research to figure out where the groups operated out of. Some were out of a warehouse near a river that was probably polluted, in a place with decent foot traffic but a lot of alleyways to get lost in, with a certain fast food place nearby, based on the trash, and figured out what the heroes patrolled around there, which had been hard. The areas hadn't been any daylight patrols, and underground heroes didn't like people knowing those things. He ended up having to exclaborate the information from fan sightings instead of official data. He had written out and deleted the email a few times before it occurred to him that he probably shouldn't contact all his illegal information to himself. So he made a new email and sent the message. From Concerned Citizen 81904 at gpmail.com to mine.jack@hero.net. Subject: info you might need to know. Hi there. I've stumbled on some information of what I'm fairly confident is a human/quirk trafficking ring in place that I'm pretty sure you patrol. I'm pretty certain of the main location and have a good idea of their secondary. I also have a list of some quirks of people they've kidnapped. I'm not sure how recent it is. I'm sending the info I found plus the analysis I did to get at my conclusions. Please believe me, these people need help. File attached. Most heroes didn't respond to emails like that. They probably got thousands just like that one he had sent every day and left a robot or intern to sort through it all. He hoped that since Mindjack was an underground hero, he got less messages like that and would have the chance to look at it. He probably wouldn't, but Izuku tried to put what he thought he found out of his mind for the rest of the week. Someone like him couldn't actually do anything to help those people. The email was the best he could do. It still ate at him, though. Stuff like that always did. And then he had gotten the reply, and he checked the news. Well, an Underground Hero fan forum that tracked pro-solved cases. And sure enough, Mindjack had gotten a team together and saved those people. He had listened to him. It was a weird sensation, but for the first time in years, he felt sort of alive. He had helped someone. Or he had helped someone help someone, at least. The warm feeling lasted until he looked back at the email, and he remembered that he probably should respond to it. He knew logically that he should just come clean about everything. He hadn't done anything wrong after all. But if they knew who he was, then they would never listen to him again, and he would have to go back to living his normal, depressing life of not being able to do anything. It took him a few anxiety-filled hours to write the email, but eventually he sent, From Concerned Citizen 81904 at gpmail.com to mine.jack@heronet. Subject: info you may need to know. I'm really glad you pulled it off. It makes me feel better knowing those people are safe. All the information I had was publicly available info. I just compiled it. I'm not anyone important to the situation or anything. Just a concerned citizen. I think Damo does a really good job at starting the fanfic. This first chapter is a really good hook. Obviously, we have a little bit of Izuku's life before he starts actually being the concerned citizen, which is literally just rinse, repeat, the same boring thing. He's alive, or he's living, but he's not. Well, what's the saying? You're alive, but you're not living? Or you're living, but you're not alive? I don't know. But you get what I mean. He's breathing, he's living, but he's not living. He's not actually doing something that he enjoys, that he likes. He's depressed. He's in this depressive cycle, and the only reason he hasn't offed himself is, as he said, beating the statistic, and also probably his mother, which is sad. I can't even imagine that type of life. It's immense. But we are able to see, get a little bit of insight of Izuku's life and stuff like that. And we also, I like the way this fanfic is written. Domos, which I always want to say your username as Dominoes, which is hilarious to me. But Domos, I think it is super cool what you did here. I really like this whole fanfic, which I'm super glad that I'm able to podfic it. It is a Shindeku, and I know some of you guys really like Shindeku. Since my last Shindeku fanfic, literally exploded. But yeah, this is super cool. I really like this fanfic. It's so nice. It's obviously a Shindeku fanfic by the, everything else. It's really good, and I like that it ends with him literally saying, I'm just a concerned citizen, I'm nothing. Most of the chapters are relatively long. So I think I'm gonna start doing this thing that Put Your Hands Up Podfix does, Cat. Which is break up the chapters into parts. So when a chapter is really long, because I think the next chapter is a lengthy one, I believe. The next chapter, it seems to be a 30-minute long one, so I'm probably going to be able to do this one by myself. But some of the chapters, I might end up breaking into parts. So you'll see chapter 1, part something, right? I'll probably put the part somewhere else, like next to this, where I put 1/21. I'll probably put 1 part 1, or whatever, like something like that, and go through with that as well. I'll probably estimate how many parts each chapter is. Some of these chapters can be really lengthy. I think one chapter is probably gonna amount to being an hour long. I saw the little scrolly and I'm like, okay, the little scrolly looks like it's about to be an hour. I can kind of calculate those sort of things because reading making podfics has made me like that. Like somebody says like, 4,000 word podfic. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a 30-minute podfic. Or a 4,000 word fanfic. I'm like, yeah, that's a 30-minute podfic. And it's like, 10,000. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a 1 minute, not 1 minute, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Like I can calculate in my mind, which is really, really weird. That's something new. I've never been able to calculate stuff like that in my mind, but now I can. Even looking at the little scrolly bar, I can calculate. Like I knew this chapter was going to be like a 10-minute chapter. Like I saw a little scrolly, I'm like, okay, this is going to be like a 10-minute chapter. Seems like an, 10-minute chapter. And looking at the scrolly of the next one, it seems to be a 30-minute chapter. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this fanfic. And as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my socials and Discord server are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.